So Kyle was acquitted, thank God, and his emotions when he was found not guilty. I mean, who could forget the sight of him going down? He was just overcome. We were live in the air when the verdict was read, and just so moving. I was moved emotionally myself watching it. And then now you've come out with an op-ed, and it's interesting to me, Richie. I don't understand. You tell me what's happening, because I read that you're leaving the Daily Wire. You post it in Newsweek, which, by the way, does post
Daily Caller.
Daily Caller, yeah, sorry, Daily Caller. Newsweek does post a lot of stuff from the right now these days. It's not wholly left. So just because you went, it's not like you went to New York Magazine, right? And then we know, like, what's Richie doing? So you post it in Newsweek. Mike Davis has had some. Anyway, my point is, we know nothing from the fact that this is in Newsweek, but what you say in Newsweek is, I was in Kenosha 2 years ago. Kyle Rittenhouse is not a hero. And you write in the piece that he was either presented broadly as a force for good or evil. In my view, Kyle Rittenhouse was neither. And some on the right are mad at you. They're pissed off that you said that about Kyle, that they feel like you're taking shots with him and even potentially siding with somebody like Rosenbaum because of things that you said, like what you just said on this show. So how do you respond to people who are ticked off that you don't want to celebrate Kyle Rittenhouse?
Well, I think for one, the one thing that they might not understand is that perhaps one of the things that made my testimony stronger was the fact that, I wasn't overtly like a Kyle Rittenhouse fan, or I wasn't out there to get him off. I was out there to tell the truth. And so that was my role as witness. I told the facts, and I tried not to, cast my own opinions out there, because I wanted just to stick to the facts, and I don't want any of that to interfere with my testimony. But after that is all over, I stayed quiet. Everybody was, some people were very angry about the results of the election. The results of the court case. Some people were obviously elated. So I decided to wait, and I waited nine months about. And on that anniversary, I view my role moving forward as returning back to that role of like a journalist and a person who was there and a human being who experienced it. And when people read about it in 20 years, I wanted to put that personal experience on paper, how I encountered Kyle Rittenhouse, how I saw him in that zone. And then, how Joseph Rosenbaum, not knowing his criminal history, how I experienced that in that moment. So, everybody, I got called a pedo lover, probably, I don't know, hundreds of times this last week. I expected all that to happen. I knew it would, but my goal was to show that in the moment, the way that you experience these things is different from the way that it's then interpreted by the media, the way that, all the armchair quarterbacks say you should have done this or that. I just wanted to provide my human perspective on that. And obviously, I think the results, the response to it kind of proved the thesis of the article, which is, it's like, we had these two trenches now. Every story is interpreted through one of those two partisan lenses. And if you go to try to climb up out of that trench and stand up in no man's land and shout to one side or the other, you're going to get blasted. So I think that the response really kind of proved that thesis. And I'm not, asking for any, I knew exactly what was going to happen when I posted it. And I wasn't doing it to take a shot at Kyle Rittenhouse. I quite literally said he's not a hero. He's also not a villain. And I think that that's the problem, is that he was cast as either one or the other. And, I think what the right did was see that people were calling him a white supremacist, see that the left was calling him a white supremacist, and respond by saying, well, if they're going to call him that, then I'm going to call him a hero. And I think that aspect of the reactionary right is kind of what I was pushing back on. It's like, you can't just abandon your whatever principles you claim to have. For example, family values, parents who don't let their 17-year-old kids go out armed to riots. But secondarily, if they did that, then, that means that us responding in kind is okay. And I think conservatives always used to be the ones who were like, don't yell at politicians in the street, have a certain aspect of civil society that you preserve. And now you see all conservatives, shouting at politicians. And my question is like, what's the end result of that? Like, if the left goes lower and then the right responds by going low as well, that sounds like a death spiral into something that's very bad. So I just try to, stand up and say what I experienced. And, I expected the results. So I think, moving forward, it's a good learning lesson.
I thought Kyle himself did a pretty good job after the verdict in not being too self-congratulatory or leaning too far into I'm a hero. Like he didn't really do much of that.
And that
like,
was not,
it was,
stepping back, like after the fact, I could have been more clear about the fact that really it was the media that took Rittenhouse and turned him into that hero. And he's just a kid. Now by that point he was 18, so he was technically an adult, but even still, he was just getting sucked up by conservative ink, and they were using him just for to score their own points on the board after he was acquitted. And I actually
and let me just show the audience what you're talking about, because in your piece you write, a month after the trial came Turning Point USA's America Fest, where they wanted you to participate, but you declined. You knew that they were going to surprise the audience with Kyle, and it led to, we have it, right? We have this moment. Yeah, where he came out. We'll just play it now while I continue speaking. But he came out, and there's like pyrotechnics, and there's spotlights, and he got a hero's welcome for sure. And I can see, you had a problem with that. To me, I saw that as like they're applauding his courage in having had to sit there for day after day, thinking he might be going to jail for the rest of his life. It's about a martyr less than a hero, in my view.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. And Drew Hernandez, actually, who was on that panel, who, like I said, I was traveling around with him. He said something similar on Tim Pool the other night. And look, that's completely fine. I totally understand that perspective. And I also can't unpack, like, here's the thing is, when a tragedy happens, everybody says, oh, well, he had this criminal history and blah, blah, blah. I can't unlive that experience. And so my goal was to, the way that I felt when I saw that, having one of the people that he shot die in my arms, was sick. And so I think that all I wanted to do in that, providing that anecdote and the way that I felt when I saw it, was to identify the fact that people who are close to these tragedies, that human side of it is something that gets completely lost. And whether it's one side or the other, the human beings who are caught up in the midst of that are they become these caricatures who are no longer human beings, according to the media.
Do you ever wonder if your vitamins are working? Clinical studies show Healthy Cell's new ingestible gel technology called microgel delivers maximum nutrient absorption 165% more than you get with tablets. It tastes great too. It's actually hard to make vitamin liquids or gels taste good naturally, but Healthy Cell products are the best tasting pill-free supplements on the market today. Go pill-free and get up to 15 pills worth of nutrients in one ultra absorption gel pack, saving you money and time and giving you effective doses. Take a single great tasting gel pack at home or on the go. It's great for travel. You can mix it into drinks or you can blend it into smoothies. Old-fashioned tablets, capsules, and powders contain synthetic other ingredients like binding glues, flow agents, fillers, and coatings that could irritate your gut. Plus, this product is made in the USA. Visit healthycell.com/Megyn or just use the code Megyn when you check out for 20% off your very first order. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.